part of government operations? It's called what? The general fund. If you have a government, you always have what? A general fund. No matter how small, you always have a general fund. Some folks call it current fund, the operating fund. They're different terms to, to describe it. And these are the functions. These are the traditional services that are performed. Nothing different, nothing complicated. This is what they do. So from now on, when you look at your town, think about these are the things that your town does for you. Public safety, public works, culture, recreation, health, and welfare. Now, what distinguishes governmental accounting from all other types of accounting is this thing called budgetary accounting. So put yourself in the shoes of a chief financial officer for a town or a city. Before you can spend a single dollar on anything, you must be authorized to do that. How do you get that authorization? By having a budget that's passed. Once that budget is passed, you now have the authority to spend those monies. Well, what happens is when the budget is passed, something happens on the accounting end, which is these budgetary accounts get set up. So if you expected $1 million of revenue, you create a budgetary account called estimated revenues of $1 million. If you're going to spend $1 million during the year, you create a account. We don't call it estimated expenditure, we call it appropriation. Okay? Estimated revenues and what? Appropriation. That's our plan. What we're going to get and what we're going to spend. Should it always be exactly equal? Okay, now put yourself in the CFO's shoes. If you are getting revenues of $1 million, do you put in $1 million worth of appropriations? What would you do? Would you make it more or less?
More.
Would you want to spend more?
No.
You would want estimated revenues to be more just in case you didn't get all those revenues, right? So most governments, what they do is when they budget in a way where they say, okay, I'm going to get $1 million, but boy, if my estimates are wrong, I better not spend the entire $1 million. Let me just budget 950 or 980. That difference between the two is money going into an account called fund balance. Fund balance is like your owner's equity. Fund balance is like your owner's equity. That's what's left over. And people, these governments have a little kitty bank where they put these monies in. So when there is a problem and they don't have enough money, they take the money out of the fund balance. And that's what we'll take a look at this, okay? And this is the account which is called estimated revenue, appropriations. These are budgetary accounts. They don't exist under accrual basis of accounting. They only exist in a budgetary system. There is a distinction between estimated revenue and other financing sources. It's not complicated, but you need to understand this. Estimated revenues are things like taxes, right? Let me give you an example of estimated other financing sources. You go out and borrow money. Money comes in as cash. Is that revenue when you borrow money? No. It's called by another name, and that's called other financing sources. So something which is not truly revenue, but it's coming to you, is thrown into this category called other financing sources. Remember, right now, the cap we are wearing